Yeah. Pretty nice design. That's prototype 7.3, which is printing right now. And then this is the mess. Ugh. I've been doing a lot of testing here. It prints out real good, and this is 7.2. It just needs to be more rounded. So 7.3 has more rounding. And then also, it's kind of thick at the front, so I don't know if I'm gonna do something about that. And the cool thing is I can also print all the pins in one go in a strip. So once the scales are done, I just pull the pins and the scales, push it in, peel it off. It's pretty quick. It's very clever. These were the 7.0s, I think. So you can see I put the chamfers a little deeper. But yeah, right now it's just prototyping. What's really cool about having all these pins is that it's very strong even with these small plastic pins. And because there's so many lined up behind each other, it makes the handle very, very stiff. So the blade is very, very stiff. The whole knife is very stiff despite being so thin and small, because those pins are kind of giving that three-dimensional stability. So that's really cool. I'd like to do, of course, multicolored pins, but right now I'm just testing things and seeing which scale I like the most. They were just feeling a little too square. The problem is, you need all this flat real estate on the top here if you want to carve really, really well. Because otherwise what happens is you just end up... I have some scales in here that are quite thin. There's even thinner in there, and what happens is that it makes no difference whether it has scales or not. It just feels like a full steel blade, which is unbearable to work with when you're doing like a lot of woodwork and stuff like that, and just multi-purpose. Full steel is a great backup shank, you know, to have in a pocket, something you never use, but I think for every day you have to have like a good grip. And the problem here is if you put slightly too little on the top here, then it's basically feels like it's digging into your palm. But what's really funny is just after, you know, all this work, you know, prototyping these and these, I always fall back around to this one being, well, this I'm playing around with the serrations. This is the only one with serrations, but this is the V4. And this one just feels the best in every way. It's just the most organically, like, it just works so well. Yeah, it's got a pretty rough finish on it, but I just really wanted to test the serrations, and I can't put this down. Those serrations are really quite nice and useful on this design. They actually work really, really well, so it's making me think. Oh, and look, original Leatherman. So that's kind of like where I've been with all this stuff. This took a while to print, actually, this box. But we'll see where it goes. What would be really cool is to get these injection molded, get the blades grounded, like outsourced, and then sort of have everything arrive here, and then I can just 3D print pins out of a very tough material, like some kind of carbon fiberglass, and then in strips, and then when everything arrives here, I just grab those strips, push them in, hammer them down, pull the base off, and then it's pretty much finished. I mean, maybe some glue. But what I've noticed with this one, because I've been using this one now to test all these handles, is with a previous scales that were completely flat and quite thin, they were quite nice, but they dug into my hand. So they were aesthetically perfect, but they were just not thick enough and impossible to pull off. I hammered it down. I kind of domed, because these change shape. So if you smack them on the top and bottom, they swell and they just bring everything down, and then it just it keeps it in place. I had to break them off. It was as fixed as it would have, you know, as if I had done like a proper job. So pretty neat. So we'll have to see where it goes. The only thing that bothers me right now is kind of the square profile. So I'm rounding it out a little bit on the next one. These, I'm not sure they actually do all that much. I noticed that even just a basic flat one like this actually has a lot of grip. I think this one's the prototype 5. So, and then I did, because I was playing around quite a bit, I was testing to see if I could get the pins all hidden. But whatever. And then for future plans, I thought what would be really cool, now this is like a million years from now with all sorts of machines, but if you were to, if you had a plate, steel plate that runs down the middle here, and each one of the second holes goes through to the other side, and then here you have like a thumb thing that you can pull out this section here, and there's a clip lock like on a Tokarev that slides in between each of the pins down the middle all the way to the end, and the pins are like slightly, they have a machined element on the inside, so you can slide both scales on both sides, slide this locking piece here all the way through and click into place, and then you have like removable scales that are held in place with this that you just kind of pull out from the front, and then you just pull the scales off and change them for another one, squeeze them through, and then put the 2 shivs in to lock everything in place. I thought that was super cool, and we'll see if that ever happens, but I got the idea down. If any of you are like, I don't know, engineers with those machines available, hit me up.